Welcome to the second episode of Word. I'm Tanya Monahan, and this is where we delve into real conversations with real people. And today's conversation explores intuition, energy, and what exists beyond what we see. And I'm joined today by Jennifer Shaffer, an intuitive medium who is really well known for helping people with healing and clarity and connection. And I have been so lucky to have experienced Jennifer's gifts firsthand. And in fact, the first time we met was the night before my first episode.
That's right, Jen. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much for having me. I love our community.
Well, thank you for being on here. I've been so excited for this one, and I shared it that you're coming on here with numerous people and everyone. This one's going to be so amazing because everyone is so excited to just learn more about what you do, and I think about the person who you are, because I think when people go to these things, it's for them and it's connection, but I just think you're such an incredible person, and there's so much more that you do. I mean, you're an author, you do so many things, which we'll get into, but I have been just so personally excited for this one. And it was really funny because before my first episode, it was the night before my first episode, and I was feeling very nervous and anxious. And I sat down with you, and it was just one of those things. It wasn't planned, I didn't even know you were going to be there. And I just have to thank you, because I was so incredibly nervous, because my first episode was, I really had to hold space for someone that had, yes.
I call it challenging content.
Challenging content. And of course, Tanya, first one out the gate, chooses that. But, it just had touched my heart so much, especially that I have a son, Bronze age. So the first episode was with Jennifer Levy, and
that was such an important episode, though.
It was
so important.
And that's what you said to me.
So good.
And you just gave me the grounding and the confidence I needed to go into that. And I don't know where it came from, because even before, when I would be talking to my husband, I just start crying, and I was like, I can't do this in the episode. It needs to be for her. I can't fall apart. And it was miraculous, because I'm a highly emotional person, and anyways, I really feel like you gave me what I needed to get through that episode, and I'm so grateful. And a whole nother episode, but there were some weird connections.
Watch it.
Well, and there was weird connections that came up in that reading, because you had just read for Mia, her best friend. It was just so bizarre.
It always happens like that, though. It always happens like that.
It was so bizarre. And then
he had an effect on me, and I never met him. I never knew Jen. And it was the day that, can I go into it for a little bit? So my husband and I went to go see my daughter at Cal Poly, and she's in charge of she's in charge of a car doing the composites for a Baja car. So building a car, and they race all over the country. And it happened to be up at Cal Poly, so we went up there, and at 10 a.m. in the morning on Saturday, all of a sudden, I started feeling, I'm like, someone died. And I looked at my husband like, someone's gone. And I actually felt, that it could have been my son at the time. And so he's like, just call him. Oh. My son's like, what are you doing? Why are you waking me up? Just check it in, And but I'm like, and it wouldn't go away though. Even after that, it wouldn't go away. I'm like, I am connected to someone that has passed, and it is tragic. And I was looking at the car, and I'm like, is this the last time I see Blake? I go through all these things, because I always feel my world is my worlds are very challenging. And so it didn't go away, and then my friends started calling, because everybody knew Braun. I'm connected to everyone that knew him.
It's
knew
crazy.
The family, even though I didn't. And so it was just a very interesting, and that's happened to me maybe 2 other times, and where I'm like, someone passed away, and I couldn't figure out where it was, but everyone found out, about the same time. But to feel that and it affected me. And Ron has helped so many people.
Oh my gosh, I know.
So many people.
I know.
So,
it's really interesting you say that, because I have another friend that has the gift, and she also didn't know him, and she shared with me that he has come through, and she didn't know him, and he has come through, and he's one of like her spirit guides, and I was just like, he's like that, incredible, and that was what came through in that sit down with Jen, is just, he was so special. There was something about him energetically that transcended ages, and
there's no way he can be like, not every spirit is like that. And for him, there's a few of them that I can count on one hand where they are my team, and he's one of them, where I'm like, you need to help this, I need you to help me with this missing person case or this murder case or whatever. He is around, and he is very profound, and I know how much he's helping over on the other side, just like he did here. And I feel like I know him even though I don't.
That's amazing.
But how did you make me cry within the first 2
I know, sorry.
What's wrong with you?
Well, that's Braun. I mean,
I know.
And I agree. Like, I also, there have been so many incidences of I would say 2 degrees of separation, with him and everybody. He was a remarkable human being, and what's wonderful is, and through Jen's work, she's doing amazing. There's so much more that she's done since our podcast, so I'll circle back on that. But
that really helped everybody understand it too. You really brought that, I didn't know, you really brought that to the forefront. So anyways, everybody needs to watch that one.
Well, thank you. Well, I have so many questions for you, but I just thought it would be good for you to kind of introduce yourself to, the audience and to the listeners, because I don't think anyone can actually succinctly put into words what you do, and it doesn't have to be, but just to describe what you do.
So there's a couple ways that I describe. Well, first of all, my friends call me Dorkalicious, because if you get to know me, my daughter calls me a ghost on a leash. We were in Paris, and I was looking at my iPhone, still going the wrong way, and my daughter's really, really bright. She's an aerospace engineer at Cal Poly, like we discussed, and she's a whole nother animal. But she's like, Mom, you're looking at your phone, you're going the wrong way. And I looked at her, she goes, you're a ghost on a leash. And I'm like, I need to make that into a t-shirt. I'm like, that pretty much describes me. I'm tethered here, but I'm just, but I think there's a couple of things that I'm very passionate about. I'm very passionate about helping women understand the powers that they have. And we're not talking hierarchy. In fact, the more that I know, the less that I know, and the more that I understand that statement. The universe is vast. And for anyone to think they know, I knew more 10 years ago. I can't believe how ignorant I was about what I thought I knew. And I'm just, to live, there's 6 emotions that they've studied that help you bring down your walls and help your nervous system and your endocrinological system, everything. And a lot of people think it's grateful. Being grateful in the state of gratitude is, yes, amazing. Being happy, joyful. But the biggest one is awe. The biggest one that they studied was awe. Because you become immersed, when there's that awe factor, the God factor, don't get caught up with semantics, whatever you want to call it, the universe, there is something out there that we are all connected to. And so when people ask me, what do? I spend my life, every minute that I can, being connected. Everyone is connected, they just don't know what they are. And so I put people's awareness to where they're already connected. That's all I did with you. That's really all I did. And so if women, because we need us to be together, we need more of us to work together, we need more of us to, champion each other.
Amen.
There's no competition. There's no, the competition you should have is with yourself. And that's what I do. I'm like, what can you do better? What can you do stronger? But that's what I'm passionate about. but I'm really good at finding dead bodies, and I'm really good at working with law enforcement. And I mean, that's just really fast for me.
Yeah.
And that took that was what I started with. And then I developed into my private practice, and now I'm doing events all over the world, which I love. I get to go to Boca Raton and do wine and spirit. I get to go to Formula One with one of my best friends. I get to go to New York for a week and see my clients there and do a couple of events there. That's really the fun, because I thought, what can I do to hedge all these murders and all these, the cartel and working with the FBI, and I'm like, I kind of like wine. I call it cougar crack, Chardonnay.
So that was literally just like a reaction to like just the darkness that you have to
and so I'm like,
step
how do you
into.
do this? So
Wine and spirits.
Wine and spirits. I thought, oh, that's so fun. And I, Kathy Knoll, who owns my court, I've been there for like going on 10 years, doing events twice a month.
Amazing. And people, you have to experience this, because I did it.
It's so different.
And that was, and again, serendipitously or not, I mean, just time-wise, I just lost someone that was, I was very close to at one point in my life, and I was really having trouble with the closure of it. And again, like, you really helped me with that. I went sideways and I haven't even talked to this person for so long. Like, it was just, it really rocked my world.
So this is another thing that's very interesting to me. It doesn't matter. Time only exists here, and from what I've learned, that can change later, but I'm jumping in and out of time constantly. So things that happened 10 years ago feel like they happened yesterday. There is, if you look more, when you're more connected, you're not going to establish time here. It's going to feel, and when you have that, you have what's called impermanence. So it doesn't feel, there's nothing tangible. And so when you have a loss, it feels like everything's up for grabs almost. Where are my kids? I go through all my checks. I go through my panic attacks, that I deal with occasionally. But that's easy. I'm very lucky. I have trained myself to get in and get out. And doing the wine and spirits, I'll read 35, sometimes 40 people in a night. And one will be a murder. One will be your father's not your father. The other one will be, everything comes out.
I've seen it.
Everything comes out. And that's why they're doing a show on it. Because I think it's hysterical. They love Manhattan Beach. They love the South Bay. They're super excited. Fox Studios is super excited about that.
And Jessica Alba is
she's one of my best friends.
That's so amazing.
I'll be going with her back east.
That's amazing.
She's an amazing person. And
she is. I don't know a person, but she comes off very
she is just
kind and good person.
She's so kind, and it's so fun to see her soar. Literally, the female astronaut that's in Artemis right now. I'm sorry, I can't remember her name. I have to know names, but I'm not good with names. Super fun being me.
Join the club.
But she asked for Honest hand cream. She's like, where is it? And I'm like, think of all the dreams. She was, I was talking to Jessica. I'm like, think about all the dreams that had to happen. You wanted better products for your daughter. You dreamed big and you got there. She wanted to go on a rocket to the moon. She got there. All the dreams that had to, and the girls that made the rockets, like my daughter that's going to be working. All the things that had to play out in order for that special moment to happen. It's a little girl's dream, dream bigger. It was just so, I was so
Do you know, they actually filmed an Honest commercial in my house.
I would not doubt it.
10 years ago, and it's just funny. And it was supposed to, they left me all of her products too, which was so nice. She's amazing. But when you were talking about time, what I thought about, it was just funny because you brought up the astronauts. So I don't know if you saw, but did you see the footage of the astronauts that went up and what he said about how...
So he also graduated from Cal Poly Slow.
Stop it.
Yes, he graduated from Cal Poly Slow.
I loved what he said.
I loved what he said. He's like, you guys, we're on a spaceship here.
Yes.
This is our spaceship.
Yes.
Treat it well, treat it kind.
And just
God,
unity,
everything.
we're all connected.
We're all connected in the fact that we don't
race
think that
doesn't matter, creed doesn't matter. It's just and he's like, there's just something that happens, and there's that whole, when you zoom out and how they are able to see that, and it's just so mind blowing. and then you just feel so small, and and then you realize
you're part of this.
System.
You're part of this universe, God, whatever. We are so lucky, and if we start using more of our intentions, like when I go to the beach, the water is my church.
And you told me to do that.
I am down at the water every day. I try to make it every single day, and I ask permission. I'm like, can I come see you? And I will get the most amazing, like the first time I asked that question, I got this overwhelming feeling like you've always been welcome. And then I saw myself in all these different beaches, like beaches I've never been to, like one in Scotland, and I'm like, whether you believe in past lives, it doesn't even matter. I can't believe this is it. But I had felt such a love that it was just so fascinating to me. Like it made my run so much better, just being that connected. It was just so cool. And if you start asking questions, you'll feel even more connected. And and I'm like, so what can I do for you? And they're like, just give us everything, all the things that you are carrying. And I sat there and I was just like, it's not something I'm thinking. And I, of course, have had lots more practice about getting out of my own way. Like the only difference between me and somebody else is that when they ask somebody on the phone, for instance, like, oh, so how's that guy that you're dating? And they're like, oh, he's amazing. And you're like, ooh, this doesn't feel good. I know I'm being given that information. I'm not thinking it. Whereas you might be thinking it.
Right.
But we're given so much that people think that they're your own thoughts, but they're not.
So, and for you personally, when did you first know that you had the gift?
So, I knew all my boyfriend's passcodes.
Without them telling you?
Oh no.
Yeah.
And my friends would say, do you know you're psychic? And I'm like, stop it, I don't even know how to spell the word. It was so annoying. I had such a huge, to it, which was interesting. But one of my first memories, because you go back like, oh wow, I've always seen spirits floating around since I was little.
Okay, so for you, it's visual. You see
visual.
It. Okay.
Visual, feeling, hearing, seeing.
So it's all of it.
All
of it.
It's just different languages.
Wow.
The more like it's
but you have all of them.
All of them.
Wow.
Yeah, and so, I was raised very Mormon, very religious family, and there was a Mormon family across the street from where I lived, and I refused to go over there, and the parents couldn't have been nicer. Anybody that lost a job, they'd be the first ones to offer food and to help them out, but there was something about one of their sons that I'm just like, and I was 8 years old, I think, or 8 or 12, I'm not sure. I just was like, there's no way. My parents were like, I'm like, I won't go over there. I had this sick feeling.
Oh my gosh.
29 years later, that boy killed 5 people, execution style. One of them got away in Texas. So this was down in San Marcos. I knew everybody that was involved. Knew the families. And he's in prison right now.
You knew the families, the people that got
Everyone involved, because they were part of our church. He ended up marrying somebody. She left him. He went to go find her and killed her sister. And so I don't mean to take it there, but that was one of my earliest. So I think my intuition has kept me alive in a lot of ways, even without understanding it. But that was one of my first childhood memories. And then throughout school, like if somebody was behind me, and I'm trying to help parents with children that are very empathic, because I thought about death my whole, all throughout school, and I had no reason to think about that. I came from a loving, kind family. I had nothing bad happen to me. I was captain of this, did this, whatever it was, nothing, which made it worse, because I had no reason to be depressed. But if somebody sat behind me and got in a huge fight with their parents, I would think they didn't like me, because I could feel all of it. And then because of that, because thinking about death, you think about, so if a kid is really good at soccer, they get a soccer coach, they go to a soccer team. If they're really good at dancing, you put them into dance. Well, if they think about death, what do? You send them to a shrink, right? Yeah. Or you just, you don't know what to do. But they were trying to show me that eventually I was going to be working with the other side, not to be over there, but to be working in some capacity with them. But there was no death school to go to.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so it was a very interesting way to live. Like, my parents couldn't understand it, but I mean, I had no idea that I was going to be doing this later. I was a stockbroker for 10 years.
Yes, because
$500 million.
That's what so it seems to me, so you're raised in like a religious upbringing.
Ran away from that. You've always kind of had this like very deep-seated intuition, but you didn't realize how,
like the breadth of it.
No.
And so how do you exercise those muscles, like, to be what you are now, like to where, you know, spirits are, I mean, because were spirits coming in when you were younger?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but I didn't know. Because so I asked for glasses about every 6 months, and I was the only child out of seven children. I have 6 other brothers and sisters who I love. 7 children. And I was the only one that didn't have contacts or glasses. I had 20/20 vision. My mom was like, and back then it was $40. We're talking, that was a lot of money to try to get your eyes checked.
Isn't that so funny?
$40. Yeah. That was like a paycheck, you know. But it was just funny. And she's like, Jennifer, your eyes are fine, because things would be floating around. And I couldn't understand it. I'm like, Mom, I don't understand why these things are floating around. And they would scare me. I couldn't take naps. I couldn't, like, it was just awful.
Do you see them with your eyes open or?
Eyes open and closed. And so if there was a hall light,
yeah,
and this is another thing for parents, don't put the hall light on, because then if your kids do see it, which they usually do before they're 8 years old, it looks dark. So it looks like dark things. And then if you're raised religiously, you think it's the devil, you think it's all these other things.
Yes,
so
it's very dark.
But it's not, it's just spirits. I could see the other world. And to this day, I have to have a projector every night that I go to bed. My poor husband. He's just like, thank God he could sleep. Where the stars in the universe are above. Because then I don't see all this stuff in between, because that can paralyze you.
Really?
Oh,
so
yeah.
You literally have a projector?
I literally have a projector that kids usually use, that I sleep with every single night. Every night, because I see so much. If I put my hand up, I can't see it. There's also books out that on plasma now that they're studying that has to do with the other world, that also has to do with all of the connections that we have. It's a whole different story. But back to your question.
Yeah.
I have a natural ability because I had seizures as a little kid, according to the brain studies that they've done on me. And so I had these seizures that were these larynx stridor seizures at 3.5 months old. And my mom would race me in. I would turn black and blue, and back then there was no phones, there was no nothing. She would race me in, and I was done before they would get me in, and they're just like, your daughter looks fine. Finally, it lasted long enough, and there was a British doctor on staff. And he says, I've seen this before. I was the 8th documented case. I called me the 8th wonder in the world.
Love that.
Love that. And he gave me belladonna, which is a hallucinogenic and a poison. At 3.5 months old. So my mom had to give it to me. She gave me too much, I'd die. If she didn't give it to me, they thought I would die.
Oh my word.
And they believed that was the gateway. So that became me, you know, if I was to play basketball, I'd be 7'5". And so they believed that was what basically fried up my brain, and then added psychedelics to, you know, there's a reason why I like psychedelics, but it's
that
a
is
different thing
so
too.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so
that's like that also just like that just opened up.
That just opened up everything, and there were several things that happened throughout my life that brought, like I was a professional triathlete. I did a header going 17 miles an hour in a tuck position, went over my bike, didn't hurt because I wanted to shock, but cracked 8 bones. They just did another brain.
In your face?
Yes, in my face.
Oh, honey.
And not another part of my body was touched. And but I didn't feel a thing. But I had to quit being a stockbroker. I mean, not a stockbroker, being a professional triathlete. It was just my whole life. It was just a crazy thing, but it also gave me enough. I met my husband a month later. I ended up getting enough body fat on me that, because I was told I couldn't have children, that then I was able to have children. So all of it, you know, God's like, here, let's go. But they said that I have no, you know, there's no brain trauma. Because there's the other thing that they believe is that when you're doing this work, when you're in tune and prayer and going inward and meditation, and they've done studies on it, how you can heal yourself. So they believe I've healed myself by doing this work.
Wow.
I also meditate every day. And when you were talking about Artemis, when you were talking about the captain that said those beautiful words about us being all connected, there is something so spectacular when you meditate to being connected to that. And it doesn't matter, like, so I've worked with Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's also studied my brain, like he has thousands of others. And it doesn't matter what race, doesn't matter what you eat, what you drink, whether you're vegan or not, everybody gets the same results. And you can truly help heal yourself. It's not giving up Western medicine, but by doing that, everybody has a capability that we have forgotten that we have.
Right. Well, there's all these studies coming out now that it's better than supplements if you just talk to your body and
love your body,
and you say, you're doing great, you're strong, you're healing. Because I have a frozen shoulder right now. I'm trying to talk to my shoulder.
Like, come on, yeah,
come on, you can do it.
Look at us. Look at us going to PT. Look at us. I started doing that 2 years ago, and I'm telling you, like, women that don't love their boobs, things go wrong. Your body computes everything you tell it about yourself and about others. So something interesting too.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I would when I go to the beach, I saw this person that was really, really overweight, and so I think in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's heart disease. That's because I do medical readings as well. Right. And so I'm like, I love all bodies. So now every time I feel like I'm gonna have a judgment, I'm like, I love all bodies. I love all bodies. I love all bodies. Because if you judge that, it's a mirror that hits you right back.
That's so interesting. I wish everyone would get on that band.
You just love all bodies. By loving all bodies, you love yourself, you love your body. And even if you have issues with it, the more you talk to it, the more you're like, look at us. Because I realized I would sit there, looking at the beach, right, which is just down the street. And then I realized, I'm like, you're like a puppy dog. You want to go out and play. You want to go out and play. Like I talk to myself anyway. It looks like I'm talking to myself, but thank goodness for headphones.
I do too. And you in our initial meeting, you told me that. You were like, you need to go, because I'm also empath. I hold stuff, and I was having lots of health issues. Yeah, and you said, Tanya, you need to go to the water. You need to come up with like a mantra or something, whatever you believe in, and like let that. And honestly, I am so much happier. Even my husband said, like, you are so much lighter and happier, and it really is. And I need to get back into like the meditating daily. I used to be very, very good at that.
So don't think of it as like you need an hour or two.
No.
I'll do it for 15 minutes.
Yeah. My husband does it 20 minutes twice a day and has done it every day for like 10 years. He's amazing.
He started men's group, for goodness sakes.
He is so disciplined. And that's why he's like never stressed. He's like always like,
Versus my husband who's listening to politics.
Well, then that's me.
I'm like, we don't need both of us being depressed about that.
I know.
And so another thing that came through the other day for me was, Jennifer, if you were to push the wars, the murders, the cases, everything aside, what does your life look like? And I'm like, I have the best life ever.
I know.
I have the best life ever. I have 2 kids that are healthy. I have a family that I love, friends that I love deeply, people that I love this community. I'm like, I have the best life. And they're like, focus on that. We come in here locked and loaded with guides. We come in here locked and loaded with a support team that wants to make sure that whether we know or acknowledge that or not, wants to help us. Angels, there is something about even dragons being like, there's a whole universe that's not separate, but we've made separate, that we can bring in that energy.
Right. Yeah, because I go down that, because I'm also just like, I'm very like justice and like, I've got like past generational trauma, I'm Armenian. There's so many things. And then I came from South Africa and we, it's like apartheid. So it's like, I've seen this movie before. So for me, there's something deep inside me that I'm just like, and that's why I'm very like vocal and like we did that march,
that was amazing.
Me and 2 of my friends, Louisa and Megan. But it's hard to turn that off.
So I had to learn years ago, and I'm saying this to maybe help some people. I wanted to be the best at what I could do. And the only way I could do that is by not bringing it home. And there was something that really, really shot me to the heart was when I first started out, there was somebody called me that was in the entertainment industry, and they're like, my daughter's in the bathroom, she wants to kill herself, and we'll put the phone underneath, and I'm like, listen, you are thinking about death because you'll be working with it eventually. I think that you'll be doing forensics, and of course she did. 10 years later, she's in forensics. Nice. But I told her, I said, and at the time she goes, why is my life not worth anything? And I'm like, no. It is. You're just thinking about death because there's no death school. I will help you, but you're not going to leave. I'm like, if you leave, I will never speak to you. I will never talk to you in spirit. Your mom's going to be a mess. You do not want that on you. You'll have to come back over and do it all over again. It'll be worse for you.
Did you know her personally?
I knew her personally.
Yeah.
So I go upstairs to kiss my daughter, who's 7 years old at the time, goodnight, and she's crying. And she stood up and she goes, why is my life not worth anything? She felt the conversation because I thought about her. I brought her into the conversation. And I'm like, no, Blakey. I'm like, no, this was somebody that I was dealing with this. I'm so sorry. She goes, okay. And then she went back to sleep. And she probably was not even awake when she told me that. And the next day, Dr. Denise McDermott called me. She says, do you want to share an office? I'm like, yes, I want to share an office. And we've been together longer than most marriages. She's one of the best psychiatrists. We've been together longer than most marriages. We've had the same office since 2014.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where is your office?
Right. It's just right on the corner of Rosecrans and Highland.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is. So do you think? Have any of your children exhibited?
They do.
I was just wondering if it is.
Yeah, my son fights it. My daughter, like, her and her very smart, funny friends will all come home and they'll have all my card decks where they'll be reading each other, which is so funny. Like, she loves it. She'll call me, she's like, okay, yes, we play yes or no. So that way I don't have an attachment on the outcome. Yeah. And I'll say, think it in your head, and then I'll give her a yes or no, or if I don't feel something, it's a maybe. And I'm like, and then she's like, well, it's about my test. I'm like, okay. And like, I'm getting, and believe me, I don't know anything about what she studies because she's like, well, I'm doing something with dynamics. I'm like, well, just be dynamic, just look hot.
Just look hot.
Just look hot. She goes, what? And well, just look hot because you'll feel better taking the test. And she actually did that the next day. She didn't wear sweats, and she goes, it did help, Mom. Wow. I know my husband wanted to kill me, but anyway, yeah, it's they do have it. It's not that they fight it. I took him to Agape. I took him to Monsignor, I took him to the Mormon church. I took him there. Like, I will go wherever you want to go. I want you guys to experience this. I want you to have something. Yeah. Like, I want you to believe in something that's more than just this.
Yes. And so, because you were Mormon, where do you stand now with your
I love the Mormon
spirituality, or are you like, do you have a religious affiliation? Because, and is that, do your gifts kind of like make that deeper, or is it like conflicting?
So it's deeper. It was conflicting at first because I was so angry that I felt it was so, like, my fights with my dad over Prop 8.
It's like dark and like
dark. Yeah. And actually, the people in the church are wonderful. My dad was a Mormon bishop before he passed. He was, like, I panicked when he became Mormon bishop. I'm like, how long do they all live? They're supposed to be Mormon bishops for 6 years. He was a bishop for a year before he passed. And so I knew that was like the last thing. And I started panicking over it. But I couldn't figure it out, and there was no way I could have stopped it, but that's a whole different issue. But I have to be in a good place. I have to spiritually be in a good place to do this work. And you end up loving everything. Like, I love Monsignor Barry. He's
a gem.
He's a witch. Like, don't take the wrong way.
Yeah, no.
He has this to the fullest extent, and we both end up in some places at the same times.
Well, he's love,
He is all of that. And so I love Jesus out of the, out of the context of the Bible. Like, I fell back in love with so many things. Like, Mary Magdalene has a huge, I have a huge love for her. I always have. Same with Mother Mary. Like, my heart gets really warm when I mention Mother Mary. And every single night, I always say, I'm so grateful for working with the divine. And so I think that churches, some people, like there's 50,000 people on the 405. Some people just want to be told what to do and where to go, you know? And then others kind of I always tell my dad, I'm like, I'm going to get to the same place, it's a different way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just.
So through your gifts, and this might be like, well, I'm just going to ask it. Does Jesus or anyone come through like that? Or is that more like, you know?
I have felt him, yes.
Yeah.
And I cried.
Yeah.
It is something that's.
Because that's who I feel that.
Everyone has access to him. People just don't know what they do. And his love has shown me, I mean, if we just loved our neighbors, we wouldn't be going through all of this.
Exactly. Golden rule.
Yeah, it's kind of simple, right?
It's so simple. If everyone abided by that one rule, this world would be just.
It'd look differently.
Very different.
Like, so the connectedness, everything's within us. Whenever I work on cases, it's nothing outside of me, I go inward. And so I know this is, so.
Do we all have it?
Everyone does.
Okay.
Everyone is born with this innate intelligence. I just ended up having it on super crack because of my, because whether I charted that or whether that just happened naturally, it doesn't really matter. I know that this was my path. But everyone has this, and people are going to be more connected. They're seeing more. Things are coming out more. It's like the 4-minute mile. If I can do the 4-minute mile in my work, so can others.
So are you saying, because there's intuition and then there's psychic ability. So like, can intuition lead to that?
Absolutely.
Really?
It is that.
And is that just by practice and like?
It's belief.
Belief in
it.
If
your brain is so powerful. It is the block of everything. So there's a few things, if you really wanted to hone in your intuition, you have to believe that you can. First and foremost, you cannot have projections. You cannot have fear. You cannot have judgment. And that takes years to get rid of. And so I think part of the reason why I was called to do crime work was because I never, knock on wood, had anything bad happen to me. So I didn't have projections. I didn't have fears. I just would get in. But in the beginning, it would take its toll on me. Some of the cases where I led the DEA and the FBI to a case. And
how did that come up? Like, because
they find me, I've never offered information ever.
So, and when did you, because you've been doing it for a long time, when did you first start working with like the FBI and the...
2010.
So they just, they knew what you were doing. They're like, hey, maybe she can help us find a body or whatever it was.
So they would call me up before they would go into a place, and I would tell them, I would say, okay, I'm like, what's the target? That's why I use names. So I always have to have a name, and I always have, or whatever they called them, doesn't matter. And then, or an address, just the numbers. Locations. And then I always go through the front door. So I'm like, okay, we're going around back. They're like, yes. We're going up a couple of stairs. Yes. So I remote view and tell them exactly what.
So are you on the phone?
Just the phone. I never have to be anywhere. I never have to see the person.
And so when you get a name and an address, do you see?
Yes, I see all of it. So they show me, so I'm like, I see a shed over to the right. Do not touch the drawer. There might be fentanyl. It might be laced with fentanyl. So my job for the last 10 years has been to keep them safe, because they would send in dogs first. Because if they got,
right, then they would know.
So I'm like,
save the dogs.
I replaced the dogs sandwiches. And it was a trust factor. So over and over, it kept getting better. And they're like, and then I started teaching them, like, this is what you guys have to do. And like, for instance, there was a case, and it's never convenient to get murder, like a case, ever. Yeah. I was on shrooms once when I helped them take down like the biggest.
Did that help you? I would imagine that would help you.
They called me on it. They called me.
I mean, unless it's like super
it's so
dark.
funny. They called me in on a Tuesday. They called me in. It was the biggest bust in LA. They called me in on a Tuesday, and I'm on a yacht out in the middle. It was just funny. Privileged problems. It was my husband's 6th, whatever. Yeah. And so, and I forgot that we took a bunch of shrooms that day. And so I'm looking in the mirror and I'm seeing 5 of me, and they called me up. And I'm like, oh, it's Tuesday. It's not Monday. I answered it, so I thought it was just a personal phone call from one of my agents. And she's like, Jennifer, you're on with the whole squad. I'm like, what? I'm like, you guys only bust people on Mondays. It's Tuesday. She goes, and they all started laughing. And I'm like, okay. And I told him exactly what was going to happen. I'm like, hey, and I started seeing 5 of me. I'm like, hey, you know what? I've been on a boat for quite a while. Can we reconvene tomorrow morning before you go out? You know? And and by the way, you're going to have to tackle somebody. You will have to run after somebody. And I started laughing, they said. And I'm like, but it's going to work out. Don't even worry about it. She goes, okay. I'm like, make sure you have 6 arrest warrants. And we're talking, there was 100 agents that were deployed the next morning. It was the biggest bust in LA.
Oh my gosh.
And so the next morning I'm like, okay.
You're on shrooms.
And I got the same information.
Wow.
And sure enough, they busted 6 people. The thing that mattered the most to them was the agent that I talked to. She had to chase the person, but he was so fat he tripped. And so I didn't know what happened, but I just laughed, and I was laughing. But yeah, that was kind of funny. They just found me for the last, years, and I worked for the same squad. They were like the dream squad. Okay. They've now disbanded. Some went to different places, and they're very depressed.
So they're all over?
They're all over.
They're all over. And so you just randomly just get calls. It's not like...
Yeah, somebody connected me to somebody in the Biden administration over gone through a case. Like the people that I've worked with just tell people. One of the biggest complaints that law enforcement gets is that they'll have a missing person and they'll get 1,000 phone calls from people that say that they're psychic. Like, we just don't have the power to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And
go for each one,
yeah. And it to me, it taught me so much about getting out of my fear, getting out of judgment, because if I had, and one day I felt something that said, hey, you know what, you're not God. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, looking up, I know I'm not. And I'm like, well, then why are you judging? I'm like, what? And they're like, there's an equalizer out there. And I got this calmness, like, just do your job and get out. Yeah. It's not your job to make anybody believe in anything.
Any of us.
It's your job to give the information and get out, and that way you don't take it with you. Do not judge the perpetrator. Do not judge the situation. The only way that you're going to get clear information is if you don't. Because if you even judge the victim, you won't get information. Yeah. And it taught me a valuable lesson, and to even take it into my private practice.
Yeah. I mean, what a gift to live like that.
Kind of a little bit McGewish.
I'm picking up cues. Yeah, I mean, it's so true. Like, everything is so simple. When you just boil it down to like, just love one another.
Become the observer.
Don't judge. Become the observer. Like,
love yourself and
be
others.
Present. Yeah. Be in awe. Like all these things you're saying, because that's what
brings
joy. So tell me about, I'm dying to know what your husband's like, because
my gosh,
he must be so special. I don't know, just to like, I would imagine it's
people
quite
are more
difficult.
Obsessed with him because he deals with me. They're like, what's that like?
I mean, I want to know, first, I just want to know like what that relationship is like and what it's like, parenting with these gifts and being in a relationship. Because, like, do you have to turn it off sometimes for those reasons? You know what I mean?
He is very pragmatic. And, people are like, well, how do you deal with that? I'm like, I need someone that's a grounder. He does all the cooking. He does all of the, he does all the shopping. I haven't been to a grocery store in 3 years. We have an exchange for that, but I do dishes in high heels.
Of course.
He is very pragmatic. So, like, when I knew that my son was doing something, he's like, well, you don't have proof. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to kill him. I'm like, they don't come to me for proof. Law enforcement comes to me, I give them information that they have to go make provable. They have to go make proof out of it. So, no, it's mother's intuition. Just call it mother's intuition, that's all it is. But he would fight me. Now, this is our 25th year of being married.
Congratulations, that's amazing.
No one bet me over. I thought I was going to get married at least 3 times. But we have a different, when you go through everything, like we fought when our kids were home. And so when they both left, for schools, I'm like, we're not even fighting. This is amazing.
Well, that's wonderful because a lot of times people find that when the kids leave, you're like nothing in common and like that's what bound you, and a lot of people break up after that.
Right. No, it brought us closer, and we fight we still fight. Is it different? People are like, well, what does he think? And I'm like, I have just had to manage a lot of feelings he takes the depression of what's happening in the world. I've chosen not to. I can't. I'm not delusional about it.
Right.
But I'm like, there's no reason for both of us to do that. And there was one instance that was pretty funny. We both went in to get our keys. I'm like, who are you going to lunch with? And he goes, real estate agent. I'm like, she's blonde. And he goes, what's wrong with you? And he's like, you can come with us. Like, it was just the funniest thing, but I went ballistic. Yeah. All I had to do is, and I forget that that's all,
Yeah, but I mean, that man can't get away with anything.
No.
Yeah.
Not really. But
and I mean, your kids too. Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's, so for instance, us as parents, we have Life 360, all these things to like track. I really try not to do that. Like, I just feel like my kids, unless there's a reason that I'm really worried about them.
So this is very interesting. So I've worked on a lot of human trafficking cases. I've looked for hundreds and hundreds of girls that have gone missing. So my extremes are extreme. So when my daughter went into, I don't try to micromanage. I give her, like, she doesn't have to hide anything from me. Right. But I'm like, can you please leave this on? Because I know you're going to school, but I need to know. I'm like, can you take a picture before you go out of your outfits? Because she goes, I know, Mom. That's the last thing police ask you is what were they wearing? So it became a joke. She would take a picture and I'm putting a book together for her, actually. Every time she would go out. She knows I'm not trying to be controlling. Right. I'm not, but she knows that I have this fear. Yeah. And so she would take a picture of herself, like, can you wear more clothes? Isn't it cold out there? Like, she's like, Mom, you promised you wouldn't, And she loved it because she couldn't wait to tell me what her night was like. And then she would tell me when she was home. To this day, she's graduating this year, she still does that. Aww. And then, but before, she has a boyfriend now, but before she's like, well, what if I'm not home, but I'm safe? And I'm like,
I didn't think of that. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm still gonna wake up and screenshot it just in case, but that's my worst fear. Yeah. It is my worst fear of her going missing, and it doesn't make any sense, but it's because of all the things that we deal with. Yeah, and so I would actually encourage, it makes an open conversation with your daughters, and just say, you know what, it has nothing, I'm not trying to control it, and they know, she knew that. It was
all my kids have it turned on. I just try not to see where they are all the time,
Right.
Unless I have a reason. Yeah. Unless I have a reason to. So I have, so can you turn off, because I had a friend, who sadly is no longer with us, who had that gift. And I just remember it's just like really hard because you're just constantly, getting inundated with information. It's like, do you have to learn tools to turn it off? Like, how do you find peace?
I don't turn it off ever. Wow. I would never want to turn this off, but I don't go around reading everyone.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
So there's a way to not do that.
There's a way. I just don't, like, my daughter was afraid to hug me. She thought I'd come into her dream state. I'm all Blakey. I'm like, I don't have it in me. She had, because she's like, I don't want you to know. I'm like, I could see, that was the whole other thing. It was like, can you guys come here for a second? Like, if I thought one of them was lying, which I never did with Jack did. So I would go over there and I would touch him. Yeah. And I'm like, you want to give me your best lie. Then I'd say, give me your best lie. And if it makes me laugh, then I might let you go. And so they would, but I could see them go try to clear their heads as if that was gonna get rid of whatever they were thinking.
Right.
But sorry, what was the question? I need to go back to
the question. Just saying, because you said you choose not to read people. You're like, you just don't read everybody.
So when they were in kindergarten, I knew somebody was being molested in the class, and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't be in there. So I started offering the teachers, I'm like, listen, whether you believe this in or not, my volunteer work, you have enough moms that are crazy that want to be in the classroom. Right. It's not fair for me to be in there. Yeah. I can't control it. That's the one thing I cannot block is children. I can't block what's going on with them. Yeah. And so from the time that my kids were, from kindergarten, all the teachers still came to me. Every single one of them would come to me for readings. Wow. And that was my volunteer work. That's how I felt good about being able to do that with our community. Yeah. Because I couldn't block the kids.
No, of course not.
But everything else, I just have a practice that I just don't do that unless they start talking. If people know, like my friends know me, they don't hang out with me for that.
Yeah.
But when they start talking, if I get something that contradicts what they're saying, I'm like, hey, you might want to look at this. They're more than happy to. But I don't ever want to have to be in a place that I feel like I have to get to that place.
Right.
I just want to be able to do it like that.
Yeah.
I just don't turn it off.
Yeah.
And the way I find peace is by talking to my own guides, talking to my own team.
And probably going down the ocean.
Yeah, like what am I missing or who should I call?
Mm-hmm.
I'll get pictures and feelings. Like, oh, okay, I need to do that.
Mm-hmm. And is there ever a time that you wish you didn't have it, the gift?
Yeah, but I probably can't say it on the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few times where, before I was married, and I didn't even know what I had, but it was, after being intimate with somebody, and then just going, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
And then trying to fight, that was very, because once you have an attachment to something, it's very challenging to get away from it too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've never been upset for having it, I guess. Mm-hmm. My cross to bear is the fact I couldn't save my parents, and I have saved, not that I've saved people, I've been an instrument of getting information to save them.
And when you say save them?
So I had a very well-known family call me up, and they asked me to look at the father who was in the hospital, and he's very well-known. And I told him what was going on with him because he wouldn't say it to anybody. And the family told him, they told the doctors, I'm like, you have to find the blood clot in the right leg. If you don't find it, he's not gonna make it. And the doctor said, no, there's no blood clot. 5 days later, they found it in the right leg, exactly where I told him it was. It saved his life.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And so, but my parents, my dad had pancreatic cancer. I didn't save him. I knew he was sick, but I didn't know why. And I took the doctors for what they, they didn't know. And then it was too late. Could I have saved him? I don't know. But that's, and then my mom. And so there's things that, but that, it has made me understand what grief means. I never really knew grief until then.
And that probably really helps you with your work.
I wanted to quit my work after my dad. I'm like, because we were so close. I'm like, you took the most beloved person. I'm like, how could you do this? I'm like, but I'm in the one job that if I quit my job, then I wouldn't be able to talk to my dad kind of thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't open it up. And so I'm like, and then every person that came in, their dad was named Jim, or there was pancreatic cancer. So it was this candy just getting ripped off and ripped off and ripped off. And so I just had to learn and then my own judgment. Again, when you have judgment, you don't even get loved ones. You can't feel them. So when you're grieving, if you feel bad that you weren't there when they passed away, that will stop you from feeling them. They're there, but that will stop you from feeling them.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, you have to get over all of that.
I've never heard that before.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, it makes it more challenging because you don't believe that they're there. There's some part of you that doesn't believe that they're there. Even in your dream state, I have to wake myself up in my dreams. I get a lot of information. I'm in the delta state when I'm doing this work, which is the dreamless state. The only time they've ever seen this is with people that have enormous head injuries that they put into comas to get into the delta state. And so I'm in that my whole day at work. So my aura ring at one point, my other aura ring, at one point would show that I'm asleep at work and that I have insomnia at night. And it was the complete off. Yeah, everything. Like melatonin keeps me up all night.
Your aura ring literally shows that
I'm asleep.
That's
insane.
So
it's insane, right? And so when they did a brain scan on me, same thing happened. Like, how could you be awake doing this work all day? And that's why I don't remember the things that come through me. They just come through me and they go. So people will come up, I'm like, you guys, I'm not gonna remember what I say, but come up to me and say, you're not gonna remember this, and I'll be so excited to hear about it,
That is, oh my gosh. So you're always in that state?
I'm ghost unleashed, pretty much.
Oh, Blake. You coined.
It's so good.
Let me ask you a question just about, okay, so is there a heaven? Like, do you believe that there's a heaven?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think It's very interesting because people ask me all the time.
Yeah.
It's one of the questions about,
sure.
like, is my dad in heaven or is this
Yeah.
person in heaven? And I had one father say, my heaven was on earth with my family.
You shared that with us at Uncorked, and that brought tears to my eyes because that probably leads into my next question. My next question was going to be, what have the dead taught you about living?
Everything.
Yeah.
No one from the other side has ever wished they would have held back from that kiss, that love, that trip, that, like, nobody shows me money. Nobody does.
Yeah.
Unless they're going through a dispute. Then they're like, okay, there's something going on with the house or there's something going on.
Mm-hmm.
But no one shows me, they might love cars. They might have collected cars.
Mm-hmm.
The only time they show me houses or homes is if the mom made it homey, but not for the wealth. Or
Right.
not
It's
for,
more like it would be their art form or something,
Right,
like something they
right,
did.
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Nothing. So I've learned everything. I've really learned how to love because of it. I was so guarded, before, because I felt like I had to be, because if I wasn't, I felt like I was going to break.
Right.
From all the stuff. Because if I really looked at my day, no one can spend even 5 minutes of what I deal with in certain ways. And I had to learn how to deal with that and everything. So the whole heaven concept has helped me so much because heaven is here.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to have it here, but it's also over there. And I haven't seen hell. I've seen hell in the hearts. But then it goes on, everything is within, right? And so you're supposed to bring heaven here.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to live your best life, like what we talked about. If you love yourself, that shoots out to be loved, And a lot of times we're just electronic trash collectors that are collecting everybody else's stuff.
Yes.
Have you ever thought, like, so I was thinking about this before. We're like, wow, my butt, like joking around in my head. I'm like, is my butt big? But actually, it was my friend that was thinking that about her butt. Do you know what I mean? Like I was picking up her shit and then making it on mine. Sorry about this. I was making it my own.
Yeah.
We do this constantly and we don't even know we're doing that. So I love all bodies. I love all bodies.
I love all bodies.
Everywhere I go, if I have anything, and it's really been a cool game changer for me to say that.
Yeah.
We're so hard on ourselves.
And so do you communicate with your mom and dad?
It took me a while.
Because you said for a while you couldn't.
I
you were
couldn't
grieving,
because I was grieving. So and every time they come in, I had this huge, like, who's dying? Like I would think that they're trying to warn me, and so I couldn't get a good read. I couldn't get because I would get into like which one of my brothers and sisters or who's gonna pass away, and it's now I can feel them, and I feel them. We have a place. It's the beach. They used to love the water, and so I know that on one side my mom and my dad's on the other side, and if I need anything, they'll let me know, and my heart's calm. And so even if it is about a really tough situation, it's okay.
You feel them.
I feel them.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And so so there's the show coming out, Wine and Spirits.
Yes.
And it's based on
my life.
Your life.
Yeah.
So what is that like? I mean, that must be so surreal. And when is it due to air?
With how long everything takes. I mean, contracts took a year, and then, and I didn't even realize it was for prime time. So it's just funny to me. I'm like, I wouldn't even know how to watch it. Unless it's streamed. So it was a very surreal moment too. That happened when Jessica and I were, she dragged me to a meditation retreat with Dr. Jill. Because she's like, you need to love yourself. I'm like, oh, F off. I'm so mad at her. I'm like, I don't need to meditate. I'm in that state all day at work. And she's like, you have to do it for yourself. I'm like, no, I don't.
Oh, what a good friend.
Totally changed my whole life. But there was a time we were at the beach and 3 bats went by my head, and I'm like, knock it off, Eddie. And I turned around and they're like, who's Eddie? 3 bats just came by your head, and we're in Cancun on the beach doing, after a meditation. And I started going to the story. He was somebody that was murdered in Texas that I worked with a family, and his son was bats. And Eddie was also an actor. There's so many stories with Eddie Hassel.
Wow.
And so I was helping the family with the person that killed him. And we just started talking about all my cases. She goes, Jennifer, we've got to do a show. I'm like, listen, they've been trying to film me for years. And no family ever makes it that has it, very rare that they make it. And I'm like, I just don't want to expose my kids to that. Right. And I'm like, she's like, we'll make it scripted. I'm like, what? She goes, we'll have somebody play you. Easy. So she formed her production company and yeah. And so that just, when we pitched it and they bought it.
Amazing.
I know. And now I'm like,
I mean, I want to watch it.
And so they're making me single in Manhattan Beach, which I love. They're like, what does your husband think about that? I'm like, he doesn't really care.
He doesn't care. He's very pragmatic.
They want to make sure, and one of my very dear friends who is the director of Emily in Paris, Andy Fleming, he wants to be the director of the show. They're looking at different people. It's funny that I actually was Cameron Diaz for Halloween with my hair up.
I could totally see that.
And I would love for her to,
I love her.
I love her. And so there's a few things that they're throwing around. I'll have 2 kids.
So exciting.
I also told them, like, you can do anything but have my kids go missing or dead. Like, you can't even have that on the show.
Yes. No bad juju.
Kill off my boyfriends. My parents are already gone. Have at them or whatever. Not my kids. Yeah. They cannot.
No, I totally understand that.
I just can't have that out there because it's my worst fear. And even if it's on a show, it's so weird. They're like, okay, all right, Jen. So where is that now? And they just thought Wine and Spirits, they would come down, watch it, and like, this is the craziest thing that... It is crazy.
It is amazing.
I
want everyone to do it. It's just like, it is so fun. And you literally can't spend an hour in there and not believe in what you do.
There's no way.
From what I witnessed, I was just like, how can anyone not believe this? It's amazing.
Well, I started doing it differently because a lot of meetings are like, why would you ever go person to person? There's so many dead people. Like, why would you take the chance? I'm like, that actually, they get so much more out of it, and they get to ask whoever they want. If they want somebody, or if they want to know about their kids, or if they want to know about their pets. I mean, they're children who can't speak, they're a year old. Tell me everything, because they show up at like 18. They tell me everything. Yeah. And so it's so much more fun for me to do that, but there's always a killing. There's always like somebody that wants to kill their husband. Or their ex-husband, or like whatever it is, and so it became very entertaining. And there's no way I could have known that. And I don't get the names. The only time I know of anybody coming in is if they tell me.
Right.
Otherwise, because Uncorked handles everything. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super fun. I recommend everyone going to one of those. It's just it's amazing.
You'll have fun.
Yeah. And then you're also an author. Yes?
Yes, so
I have your books.
There's a couple of books called Hacking the Afterlife that I wrote with Richard Martini, and so it just talks about he is very well connected in Hollywood, and so there's a lot of people. We have like a class over there that we do a podcast and we interview people, I guess you could say, or somebody will come through, and they always come through with information that we need to hear.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
Wait, is this what podcast is this?
It's called Hacking the Afterlife.
Oh, like based on the book. Oh,
based on the book. Yeah, and I'm also writing.
I'm
also right now compiling and getting a book to write. I'm about my cases.
Yes, I think it'd be so fascinating.
Everyone's I have been doing it so long that I find so many other things fascinating, but there's everybody loves that stuff. So again, it goes with what I'm passionate about.
Yes.
And what I'm really good at, I guess.
Exactly. So what is the biggest misconception you think about what you do?
That I know everything.
Yes. And
That's
another question, do people ever ask you, well, why don't you just win the lottery?
That was the next thing. And by the way, I've given lottery numbers to somebody and they won $1, so they have them. I don't get information that I'm not supposed to have.
Yeah.
And how many people, whoever's going to be in front of me, if they should have the lottery numbers, then they should have them. But it just doesn't work like that. We get bits and pieces. So when I work on cases, like this girl went missing in Paris and I got put in for it. And I'm like, I start feeling things. but I don't get all the information. I get information that they'll be able to figure out. But like, we don't get, no. I wish, do you think if I knew everything?
Exactly.
I would have houses all over the world.
Yeah,
like,
I know. I have to ask that question because I know that that's just like one of the top questions.
It's just not a
which
thing.
is also one of the biggest misconceptions, right?
Yeah.
And then, so what do you believe happens when we die? Is it different for everyone?
It is, because depending on the way that they die, but what I have learned is you lose your breath here and you breathe somewhere else. And this is what people forget. You actually breathe into something else in a way, and it's just different. And everybody goes through different things. Like if you are an atheist, there's nothing, that's fine, but you go into a place that then, it's not hell or anything, but it takes a little while for heaven to show up. Because it's whatever your belief structure is too. I mean, they've done so many studies. People feel Jesus that weren't necessarily, but Jesus is known, right? So Jesus might greet you. Your angels, 99% of the time, there's always family members there to greet you. No matter if you die tragically, if you die from being sick, there's a huge group of people over there that souls that you might not even know here that are part of your family over there.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I've also heard, just made me think of, there have been all these cases too, you know, when someone is about to pass over, they've been sick for a long time, and they have this moment before they die where they can see the people.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah. Oh, give me goosebumps. Yeah. I mean, so it's just, I don't know, I just find it all so fascinating. So if you were in that room, let's say with said dying person, would you be able to also see those spirits?
I can see them, especially animals. I see them like, well, my own, because I've only witnessed two, but they show up being like young puppies, like leaving their body. It's the sweetest thing.
Oh, and that was the other thing, because when I was at the Uncorked, there was a woman there. I don't know, I mean, you've done so many, but she was overwhelmed. I mean, I started crying because she was just crying so hard, and she was just heartbroken about her cat. I think it was a cat.
Yeah.
And that also was so, I think a lot of people, because I believe that animals have souls, but some people don't. And I just love, especially like, you know, one of my really good friends just lost their dog, and you know, I'm like, they'll always be with you, you know. And I love when that also just affirmed that belief, because you tapped into that cat.
Yeah.
And
animals are
which is just so crazy, but it's I love that, you know, because they are so much like a part of our lives, and just the fact that they also can go somewhere, you know.
So if you think about it, they all go back to a soul that another version of them comes right back to you. And it shows up in a way that I think animals are contracted to us throughout all our lives. And I think that they come to us in the capacity that we can handle them. Like it could have been a horse, you know, before. Right. It could have been this, you know. Yeah. But like I have this cute little black cat that I swear was a dragon.
Really? Oh, yeah. Your black cat that you have now.
Black cat.
Wait, what's her name again?
Caviar. So I've had black cats my whole life.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it was even associated to being whoever. Yeah. Until the film crew came in, like, of course you have a black cat. Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? They're like, you're a witch. You have a black cat. I'm like, what? Never once. I just have always been attracted to only having black cats since I was little. And so all the names were taken up. Midnight, Shadow, every name was...
Did you have black cats when you were little too?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I grew up with... for whatever reason... And so this one, I'm like, somebody asked me about my favorite New Year's Eve. I'm like, champagne and caviar and mushrooms.
Yeah. Sounds like perfection.
Caviar. I'm like, caviar, that's an amazing name.
That's a great name for a black cat.
Yeah.
That's a great name for a black cat. And so because right now there's so much going on in the world. And I know you're saying you try to kind of like,
I don't ignore it. I just don't allow it.
Yes, because
unless I can do something about it.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking, because you obviously pick up on energy. So I was just wondering if that does just kind of like bog you down a bit and how you stay grounded.
It does. So like Monday or Tuesday, I'd go to the water. I'm like, what can I do? The water told me to throw it into the ocean. And I check to see if animals are around because earthquakes, they know beforehand.
Oh yeah.
They start feeling depressed before major disasters happen. So I start checking in with everything. I'm like, is this, and then if I'm feeling super depressed, if I start feeling where I can't shake it and I can't figure out where it's coming from, it's usually from something global. And so, and I also check to see if my loved ones are going to be okay.
Yeah.
Because I get asked too by different groups and think tanks, like about the world and about what's going to happen. Is there a possibility of a nuclear war, or is there? I just try not to take it on, but that's the only part that gets me.
Yeah.
So I just pay attention to that, and then if I don't have that feeling, then I let it go. I let it go. And I can't watch the news, not because of this, but because all my cases end up on the news. So watching the news will infiltrate and give me judgment.
Right. It would come into your work detrimentally.
Yeah. And that will hinder things. Like it's very challenging for me to work with, I donate to mothers that have kids that have cancer, for instance. And I'm talking young babies. And it's challenging to tell them what I see when the doctors say otherwise. But I've had to trust that, and it usually turns out. And so I help them through each segment of whatever they're dealing with their child's life. But to go against what is given is really hard. And so I don't watch the news for that reason.
That makes sense. And I'm really curious, do you think we have like past life, like, because you're saying, the pets sometimes they could be this.
Everyone does.
So you do believe in that. So
absolutely.
So I'm just trying to connect. So then there's heaven, you go to this other place or wherever that is. But because you're saying that time also is kind of like a weird thing. So like you can have different lives. And
different lives that affect your life now. I believe that we did something good in our past lives to be in Manhattan Beach.
My husband and I say this all the time.
To be who we are,
yes.
We did something right. So I believe we handed the baton, and it could have been that we did something wrong, but we had to learn that lesson that we got right.
Right.
Okay. But I do feel that we come in here with stuff that it's not necessarily karma that we bring in, but I believe that it's a boomerang on anything that you do here. You guys, I'm telling you, think well, because it does come back to you. Yeah. So with the whole past life thing, the one thing I want to say is that whatever you believe in is right. There is no wrong. Like if you can get out of right and wrong too. So people that believe that there's no past life, then believe in that if that's easier for you. Yeah. But I personally believe, so if the soul's the ocean and each wave is a different life, it's happening simultaneously. Each life remains the same, but it goes back to the ocean. Energy never dies, it just gets recreated. And so we have a soul that we have all these different lifetimes that we get to have all different consciousnesses, which I believe this soul makes up of a bigger soul, God. We're emanations of, don't get caught up in semantics, please, or light, just call it light, whatever it is that you want to call it that you don't get crazy over. It's funny because people that leave religion, you hate God at first and then God becomes love. But yeah, this isn't it. Yeah. There's no way. Yeah. There's no way. People that are afraid to fly, that have no reason to be afraid to fly, that's not from here. My daughter was obsessed with the 1940s with women in aerospace, and that's what she's doing now. But she was obsessed with reading about it. I'm more obsessed with Bridgerton. Yeah. You're like, where did she get that from? Yeah. Where did she get that from? Yeah. But I also have, my grandmother's brother went to MIT at 16. He helped develop the sonar. He did the physics on the atomic bomb. He was one of the last guys to die from cancer, so
so
I know there's a correlation.
Your DNA,
Yeah. And my husband's brother works for NASA. Like,
Yeah.
there's all sorts of weird connections, I guess. But is it?
Yeah, I don't know, but I love thinking about that. I really love the analogy of the ocean. That's a good one.
Yeah, I was able to kind of wrap my head around it.
Yeah, having that visual helps me kind of understand it better.
It happens all at once, so that's why time is not linear over there. It's linear here for us to be in 3D matter.
It's the same, like exactly what we're talking about. The astronauts zooming out.
Yes.
It's the same.
This is our spaceship. Oh, look here, we have the best freaking spaceship in the world.
True.
That was the greatest. Yeah. That was the greatest thing ever that he said. Like, we are on our spaceship.
Really, especially now.
Right.
Now, it's just so poignant. Okay, so last question. So if everyone could take one thing away about life, what would it be for you? What would be your you kind of, I think, touched on it earlier, but just about.
Did you love well? I think when we get over there, they don't ask you what you did wrong. I think they ask you, did you love well? Did you love yourself enough to put yourself first, to help others? Did you love yourself enough to do those things that you wanted to do? Or did you live your life because you thought you should live it according to some, some dictation? Did you hurt yourself or did you hurt anybody else, kind of thing? Like, I really firmly believe that we get asked, did you love well when we get over there? And so if that's the case, what are you holding back from?
I love that. And I also really love that you incorporate loving yourself, because I think a lot of people, especially women, just put themselves last all the time. And your propensity and ability is just so much vaster if you take care of yourself.
If you take care of yourself,
I'm learning that.
Yeah, it's funny because the whole mask, American Airlines.
Yes.
You know why they do that though? Is because my daughter told me it's not for that reason. She goes, the kids don't die first, the parents do. If you don't have the mask on, it has nothing to do with like put the mask on first. And I'm like, oh, this is a little physics major. I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. I'm like, it has nothing to do with you putting the mask on.
Yeah, and everyone quotes it.
Everybody quotes it. My husband said, he goes, how come you didn't feed the kids? I'm like, no one told me they needed to be fed 3 times a day.
Oh, well, they survive. They're fine.
They're fine. They're little crumbs on there.
Yeah. Well, that is a good note to end on. And I just want to thank you so much for taking your time. I know you're so busy and you give so much of yourself. And I just think you are such a gift to this world. And I feel so lucky and blessed to have met you and crossed paths with you.
Thank you.
Really, truly.
We're better together.
We are better together. And I love how you support women. And I just think if we could all, take that from today, is just to love yourself, be kind to others, and support each other.
And love where you came from. Like, I can't tell you how many times I also have thanked my grandmothers who had to hold everything inside, who spent 5 hours in the kitchen, thank you for all the sacrifices you made to get us to where we are.
For sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, I adore you. I truly do. And thank you everyone for joining us today on Word. And I can't wait for this to come out.
Yay.
Oh, thank you, honey. I'm gonna give you a hug.